All right, a very good afternoon to you and welcome to the program. It's Good Afternoon Ghana. We're live from the studios of Metro TV. This is the 25th of January 2023. It's time for us to discuss on Good Afternoon Ghana here what has happened to the minority in Parliament in terms of leadership changes. So yesterday, the whole Ghana received with shock a statement from the party hierarchy in terms of its decision to reshuffle the leadership of its group in Parliament, where minority leader Haruna Idrisu has been, in the headlines, and of course followed by Muntaka Mubarak as well, who is supposed to be, or was supposed to be, the chief whip of the group. So some of these matters coming up has also, invited or welcomed a lot of opinions, different opinions, seems to have received a divided position on the decision taken by the NDC, the biggest opposition party. Going into election 2024, the party also released a statement explaining the decision it took. We'll be going into that, and we'll be joined in the studio by a member of parliament for the Buem constituency is Kofi Adams. He will join us. And also Wanda Victor Kuto, the young man that joined the National Executive Committee recently when the party went for its Congress. And also we would have Rashid Draman, Executive Director and African Center for Parliamentary Affairs. He will also join us as we talk about the development that has hit the NDC as a political party. My name is Sani Ifwa Ampofo. Let's go for a breather. We'll be back and delve into the issues.
We would want to see the minutes of that meeting, which resulted to the decision that our leadership should be changed. We would want to see. Was it a decision taken by an individual or two people? Was it taken at FEC? My understanding is that FEC is meeting today. FEC is meeting today to take a decision on a matter that they have already taken a decision on. What legal right did anybody have to do that? In any case, part of in fact, the most important aspects of our democratic processes is consultation. Now, how would you want to choose leaders for a caucus without discussing that with the caucus? And I see a disrespect not just to the leadership of our caucus, but a direct disrespect to us as a caucus. Nobody consulted us. Who told you that the people you are choosing for us will be comfortable with them as our leaders? Outstanding individuals. I don't have any problem with those who have been chosen as leaders or who are supposed to be made. I don't have any problem. They're all my comrades, outstanding individuals. But the question is, have we told you that we are dissatisfied with the kind of leadership we have? Have we told you, if there is any member of parliament who has actually told our leadership or some of the executive that they are dissatisfied with them, they should be bold enough to speak out. Do we need this at this material moment? If we sincerely and genuinely want President Mahama to win the elections for 2024, if we sincerely and genuinely want to win these elections for the good people of this country, these 2024 elections we are going into, it is not just about the NDC. It is about salvaging this country. This country is in the quagmire. Look, Honorable Haruna is the most experienced member of parliament today, except Honorable Cletus Avoka. Tell me, this is 20 years. Honorable Aveji, one of the most experienced. Honorable Mutaka, one of the most experienced members of parliament. In any case, look at the MPP front bench. I'm not saying that you necessarily need to be a lawyer to be able to lead a parliamentary caucus, but you necessarily need a lawyer within the front bench. Now, you need experience. That's the most important thing. I mean, Honorable Chairman Sabunsu is not a lawyer, very experienced member of parliament. Honorable Haruna Idrisu, very experienced. Honorable Aveji, very experienced. Honorable Mutaka, very experienced. Now, you are taking away these most experienced people and bringing in. I'm not saying the others are not, but in comparison with those you are taking away and those you are bringing, they are the most experienced brains within the caucus. This decision is untimely. It is not the best thing for the party at this material moment. It is going to cause division within the ranks and file of our NDC caucus in parliament. It is not. It wouldn't sing well with people. And every single member of parliament who has spoken with me have all raised rage. They are all outraged, outraged about this outrageous decision.
That's Murtala Mohammed, and I'm sure he's a member of the minority as well. I'm sure you must have seen his post on social media yesterday, right after the release was actually, received by all media houses. And our member, Abdallah Mohammed, caught up with him in his office to give us what exactly, or to explain further his post on the social media. Now let's go on to Zoom and speak with Rashid Draman. And Rashid Draman is Executive Director for Africa Center of Parliamentary Affairs. Rashid, thank you for your time and you're welcome to Good Afternoon Ghana. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
Okay,
Good
great.
afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Now, with you have monitored Parliament over the period, maybe before it even went on recess. First, give me the assessment of Haruna Muntaka and maybe the leadership that was taken out.
Well, if we look at the leadership that was taken out, perhaps limiting the assessment and maybe their performance to the 8th Parliament, I think we start on the first day when they were able to, for the first time in our history, do what no leadership has ever been able to do. That is, get a speaker elected that does not belong to the ruling party. We also how they were able to maneuver on that day, insisting on the rules being respected and so on and so forth. Then you fast forward to the ministerial nominations where they faltered. I think most of us have had occasion to tell them that on that count, they failed. Then you fast forward to the budget session of last year, where we saw them play a very important role in putting back Parliament in a position where it belongs. That is, in a position where it plays an important role in the budget process and not just simply a rubber stamp. For those of us who have been watching our Parliament for more than 20 years, that was the first time that we came to a realization that over the years, our Parliament has been shortchanged when it came to its role in the budget process. Fast forward to the budget process this year, I think the same thing. We saw some of the painstaking work that the Minority Caucus did in terms of questioning every expenditure line and even getting some of the lines expunged from the budget and so on and so forth. So put together, I think they have done what they ought to do under the challenges. Of course, they failed to get their motion on the censorship of the finance minister passed. That is because of the structural limitation of the 2/3 majority that was needed. So I think put together, I would say they have done what they ought to do, at least on the basis of what some of us see and read, and on the basis of what was coming out of Parliament. If there are anything, other things behind the scenes that are used to measure their performance, that I would not know and I will not be privy to.
Say that if this leadership of minority, remember that we already had the hang parliament, and the minority currently helped expose some of the things that made you feel that you are being shortchanged, or we are being shortchanged as a country. So this came to you as a shock and a disappointment, not so?
Indeed, it came to me as a shock. Disappointment. Well, I think that one I wouldn't say so, because it's up to the party. I'm not a member of the NDC. It's up to them to organize themselves in any way that that they want to do. But for me, from where I sit, I ask a lot of questions. This is a team that brought the caucus from a deficit of about 70 to almost clinching the majority in the 8th Parliament. That team was the team that led the party to that victory, albeit they didn't get the ultimate prize, which is a presidency and so on and so forth. But they managed to close the gap. And so at the end of the day, for me, a team that is working quite well, at least from what we see and from where we sit, you don't go changing that team. And also, especially midstream, we have seen changes happen over the years. I mean, in majority and minority benches, but we haven't seen this kind of a sweep midstream, particularly at a time when our country is confronted with so many problems, and we are relying on this the minority caucus in parliament to show leadership and to show direction for the country. There are so many issues going on. The debt exchange program, the cathedral issue, and so many other issues. Right now, I think the focus of the media and the focus of the whole of our country is on the minority, needlessly so. One, we should have been giving them the opportunity and the space, to be leading the charge on making sure that our country is turned around and all of us, get some respite.
So I have a NEC member, that's a National Executive Committee member of the NDC, Wanda with me. Rashid, can you hold on there? I wish that you had asked one of the questions, many questions that are on your mind, but I'll give you the chance to do that. Let me welcome Wanda, who is joining me on the platform. Good afternoon. Wanda, you're welcome. How are you? First, let me ask you, were you in a NEC meeting that agreed on this decision, that you released a statement and all that? Were you, part of any meeting?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to our viewers. I must say that meetings of NEC and FEC are not supposed to be made public, so I will not speak to that. I'm mindful of the oath of secrecy and all of that. So we can talk about the reshuffling. I will not want to talk about NEC.
What's NEC?
Yes.
Okay, so let me put it this way. What's happening in the NDC with the changes that you have made in Parliament?
I must say that I believe you are referring to the changes.
Of course, the reshuffle in Parliament.
Yes, clearly from yesterday to this afternoon, you could see the democracy in the NDC. You could see.
So for the purpose, for the records, I'm with Rashid Rahman, who is Executive Director for Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs. One I was discussing with, so just in case.
Right. You can see the level of maturity within the party, dissenting views, opposing views, but the tolerance level, and it's a great plus for the NDC. As a young person within the party, you could see the tolerance level. We'll come to the decision. We'll talk about it soon. About the reshuffle, but let's look at the atmosphere, the tolerance level within the party. You could have opposing views and all of that, and that is how democracy is built. Then this is a National Democratic Congress. It's a political party that believes in deeper democracy. So you could see that the tolerance level is very, very high. Some senior members of the party, some MPs disagreeing with the decision, some also going by it, but no political decision has gotten 100% acceptance. So we'll look at it and then going forward. But I'm just happy that the tolerance level within the party is very, very high at this moment, and which is a good sign.
When you say it's high, what are the statistics you're basing your high tolerance level on? Because, of course, we've already, and maybe it's expected in the constituency of Haruna Idrisu, where the youth is rampaging and still demanding for, a reverse of the decision. So how do you describe this as a tolerance level? Because they've threatened that not even the ex-president John Dramani Mahama can replace Haruna in Parliament.
Have you also seen the decision or the press release from Western Region? Have you gotten?
I have.
Right. So that's what I'm saying, that you could see that, and this is a party that one or two. The level of tolerance is generally high, but I must say that as a party, yesterday the chairman made some clarifications. The chairman said the mode of consultation in picking the leadership fresh is different from when you are making changes. The chairman was very, very clear, and it does appear that there are some consultancy deficits To be very frank, if you look at what some of the MPs are saying, you could see that some of them were not involved as a caucus. But the party has taken a decision. And we as party officers, at least, the least we can do is to rally behind the party. The duty, the principle of collective responsibility to protect the image of the party going into the next election.
But you are more or less endangering the image of the party with your less consultation or minimal consultation, if you may.
Like
Because the people you want to work with in parliament, you cannot take a decision and impose as though you're running a kindergarten school.
No, respectfully, I'd refer to the comments made by the national chairman yesterday. He indicated that some respected persons of the party were even sent to the affected honorable members.
After the fact.
Be that as it may, to inform them of the changes. I mean, leadership has the power to do so. Let's not downplay that. It's a fact that the leadership of the party can actually cause changes in parliament.
Yes, I mean, I agree. But you are the one who talked about democracy, and democracy is not imposing on people.
I've just told you that leadership of the party has the responsibility of taking decisions. Leadership of the party has made some decisions. Clearly, from the responses, you could see that there are some one or two consultancy deficits. Nobody can downplay the role of Honorable Haruna Iddrisu. You mentioned Tamale South, the comment they've made and all of that. Nobody can underestimate him. You will need his political toughness and all of that going to the 2024 general election. But my point is that once the party leadership has taken a decision, the chairman of the party, the national chairman of the party, came yesterday giving reasons, steps that have been taken. We as party officers, the least we can do is to rally behind the party. In any case, the honorable members themselves will rally behind the party. I can assure you. All the new people that have been given the appointment to lead the party in parliament, they will need the support of Honorable Haruna Iddrisu to even be successful. So there's no way the party can do without the outgoing or the outgone officers. There's no way.
Well,
and I'm happy that the party has said that it is not a judgment on their performance. I'm happy.
But if the party has clarified that it's not a judgment on their performance, but
because
who changes a winning team?
Oh, I believe you also heard the chairman of the party saying that the economy will be the mainstay in terms of the discussion going to the 2024 general election. The chairman of the party had made it clear that the party settled on Dr. Ato Forsen because of his economic prowess. And it's clear.
So, I mean, in fact, Haruna doesn't have that economic prowess.
The
you
chairman,
and you say that it is not on their competence. This changes is not based on their competence. It means that you appreciate the work they have done so far. We are in the discussion of economic situation, and Haruna has led the team throughout from e-levy, to IMF, to the current debt exchange program. So, I mean, his performance has not been encouraging as far as the party is concerned.
I don't want us to reduce this argument to the Honorable Haruna Iddrisu. I've told you that he's an astute politician that the party cannot do without him. Like he's a strong person and he's going to support the party.
It's not true that the party cannot do without him. The party
with the
changes the party has made.
What I'm saying is that, don't get it twisted, what I'm saying is that going to the 2024 general election, you will need Honorable Haruna Iddrisu.
As what?
Oh, he's an astute member of parliament. But the point I'm making...
As a member of parliament.
The point I'm making is that the party has come up with a decision. We need to rally behind the party. And we move forward. And the national chairman has outlined the reasons why they have done these changes. I mean, we need to give our chairman that respect. Now, we went to a national election. Look at the performance of the NDC in 2016 as compared to 2020. Massive improvement. Yesterday, the delegates decided and removed the national chairman at the time. That is democracy.
That was voting.
That is part of democracy.
That was voting.
It's part of democracy.
Yes, but that was voting.
It's part of democracy. I'm just telling you that, look, when you talk about decisions being made, it's not necessarily based on competence.
Yes, but do you appreciate...
There are a lot of dynamics.
Yes, but do you appreciate
when the people
are given the powers to make the change. So even though the former chairman of Osampofo led the party to 2020, appreciated your votes, he was still removed because it was the decision democratically elected. There wasn't any, disgruntled members. Even those who were supporting him came on board, and they are not really disgruntled. But in this decision, you admit that there was minimal consultation, which you've heard from the minority group caucus complaining that they didn't get any information. There was no consultation. It was just an imposition.
And I also said respectfully that the chairman had indicated that the mode of consultation when changing the leadership is not the same as when appointing them at the start. The chairman has said this yesterday, that look, when you are making changes, there's a way they go about the consultational process. I have decided not to talk about my personal views because I know Honorable Haruna Iddrisu very well, and I know how he can do his work. But I'm saying that this is a party decision, and as party officers, the least we can do is to support the party decision and all come together and fight for a common goal. That should be the aim of every party officer.
So in speaking with Rashid actually said that, and Rashid, are you on? I hope you are.
Yes, I am on.
Okay, great. So he said, at this point in time, that the nation is going through a phase which we have been discussing over the period in terms of the DDEP. You have needlessly changed the narrative, and now every focus is on minority and the NDC, which should not be so. Do you agree?
Let me say something, to some extent, but let me say something, that very soon, from February 24th thereabout, there will be picking of nomination, and so many issues will start popping up in some constituencies and stuff, and most of the national discourse will shift towards that. Very soon, there will be discussion about the presidential primaries, the contenders, and all of that. Most of the discussion will shift towards that. One will ask, should the party delay that process just because the national discourse will change towards that? No. If it has to be done, it has to be done quickly and out of the way. By May, all the discussion will be over. By May, all the discussion will be over. The primaries, parliamentary primaries, presidential primaries, by May, all this discussion will be over and the party will move forward. But I'm happy, I've indicated this earlier, that from yesterday to this afternoon, one thing that I have seen in this party is that we are two very, very democratic and very tolerant. They've been opposing views here and there, but there are no fights. It's a plus for the NDC. Thank you.
Okay, let me welcome Kofi Adams, Member of Parliament for Boeing constituency. He's also joined me on the platform. Kofi, you're welcome. Happy New Year. I haven't seen you this year. Yes, so Happy New Year. And Happy New Year to Wanda as well. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, your mic is on. Okay, great. As a Member of Parliament, tell me how you feel.
Well, we know that as members, leadership would be selected, and the party has a responsibility to select leadership. And so there's always a certain shock element in things like this. When reshuffles don't bring shock element, then it means it's not a reshuffle. Reshuffles must bring shock element. I always say that no leader should sit and wait till such time when your appointee has reached a point that everybody wants to see his back before you see the person's back. Like what has happened in terms of management of the economy of this country. That the president has been waiting and waiting. I don't know when he's waiting until we cut through everybody's pocket and remove the last peso from your pocket before he will say, my finance minister should go. You don't wait till such time reaches before you do your reshuffle. So a reshuffle should bring a shock element. So if you ask whether, how to do it, yes, there was that shock element because it has not happened before. This is the first time a party has had to change its minority leader. Speaker Bagbin served as minority leader from 2001 to 2009, full 2 terms. He was not changed. Honorable Osei Chairman Sabonsu served as minority leader from 2009 to 2017, also was not changed. Late J.H. Mensah served from 1997 to 2001. He was not changed. And then there was another minority leader in the first parliament of the Fourth Republic from 1993 to 97. He was equally also not changed. So this is the first time you have had to change a minority leader. Though majority leaders have been changed, when you are changing majority leader, it means that you are in government. So you have a place, you put them. So people usually would not agitate. For example, if the NDC was a party in government, and Honorable Haruna, for example, is being changed as its leader of the House, he may be sent to a ministry.
Ministry.
So that will not be an issue for many. Like Speaker Bagbin was moved from Parliament as majority leader to Works and Housing Ministry. E.T. Mensah was moved to Employment and Labor Relation and so on and so forth. Such things, when they do happen, when you are in power, you don't see it. So this is the first time such a thing is happening. So you expect some reaction, which is normal. And so that is what we are saying. The school of thought about consultation, I don't know how they wanted. Maybe they wanted all of us to be in the known. But when you want to do reshuffles, you cannot reshuffle when you want everybody to be in the known. You can, stakeholders may know, and others who have to be informed get informed. So, as shocked as...
So I assume that because it's not the norm to change minority leaders, especially when they're in opposition, this one comes as a shock and something novel.
That's true.
To members of parliament who belongs to that group.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true. So it comes as a novel because it has not happened before. And, you know, the structure of the House is like that. From about the 6th Parliament on, we've completed the job 600, so offices are allocated even according to your position. The Speaker, the First Deputy Speaker, the Second Deputy Speaker, the leadership, they all have special place that they use. So you have all these arrangements. Then people will be asking, so all of a sudden, what happens to persons occupying this arrangement? So those questions are legitimate questions that are being asked. But the party equally is also looking at a strategy into a general election. And don't forget that the party in its constitution recognizes the parliamentary group as an organ of the party. If you go to Article 10.1 thereabout, we have the youth wings, the women's wing, the parliamentary group, the Zongo caucus, we have the foreign chapters, and any other. Recently, when we had our Congress, we recognized the professional forum as the Pro Forum as another group. And we have developed a constitutional arrangement as to how to elect the youth leadership, how to elect the women's wing leadership, how to elect the Zongo caucus leadership, and the foreign chapters. But we have not done same for the parliamentary organ. And so it is the party leadership that usually engage and present the personalities they so desire to occupy that position. And our own standing orders recognize the right of party to nominate persons into such positions. That is why when you pick our standing orders, which emanates from constitutional provision, the Article 110, where Parliament is to regulate itself through the standing orders. Order 7 talks about interpretation, and it interprets who a majority leader or a minority leader is. It says the person designated by the party or parties. So our own standing orders give the right to the party to designate who the minority leader is. It is only when the
Having
party
been
fails.
in an executive position before, do you have room for consultations?
Sure, there are rooms for consultation.
And
You-
does it
you-
include the caucus?
The caucus is usually informed, and it must be taken clear that the processes you use to appoint are not the same processes you use in reshuffling.
Exactly.
Oh,
You cannot use the same processes.
Exactly.
The consultative process that you do when you are appointing, you don't use the same processes when you are reshuffling. Otherwise, you may not be able to reshuffle. But you have to talk to, for example, in wanting to appoint, when a session is starting, like you have finished a general elections and you come in, like maybe like we came in 2021, you will have a certain level of even broader consultation, including consultation of the caucus and what have you. But along the line, if you have to do some kind of substitution, you would not be able to get a chance to do this kind of type of consultation you do when you are starting. It's like a coach, when you want to call people to join your team. Sometimes you travel and go and meet them, you engage with the players. So I want to call you to come and play for Black Stars. Will you come? They agree. You come and meet GFA. You come and meet the minister. You agree. Finally, with your technical people, you accept your team. You have your squad of 23-member squad, which you present to the organizing, those organizing the competition. On the day of the match, together with your technical team, you present your 15-member team list. When the 11 starts and you have to do your substitution, you don't do the same consultation that you did in assembling the team when you are making your substitution. It is you, the coach, who decides that this player, I have to bring him out in order to bring this one in for me to achieve this objective. You only consult the new person you are taking in, that I'm taking you in. When you go in, this is a role I want you to go and play.
and that's a
in order-
strategy applied here.
That strategy
So earlier
applies
on,
here.
I used like imposing something on the kindergarten group.
Well, we are not a kindergarten. We are not a kindergarten group. We deserve some. And I know, you see, when we were going on recess, 24th was chosen as a date we were expected to be back to Parliament. So I am very sure that the party leadership was minded about the 24th date, which was yesterday, that is a day we are returning. So they would have taken those decisions to coincide with our coming so they can have some levels of what? Engagement with us. Unfortunately, the notification for our resumption is now for 7th February. But the letters and the engagement has already gone out with 24th at the back of the mind of leadership. Do you know that yesterday some MPs came to Parliament thinking that we were going to sit because of the 24th date? That's what they had in their mind. They were somewhere abroad, they landed at the airport, and they drove straight to Parliament thinking that we were sitting. So at least two on our side, I met them, and I can mention their names. MP for Amenfi Central and MP for Sechere Afram Plains. They all came to Parliament dressed to come for sitting, only for them to realize that, no, it's 7th. So I think that calm should return. Let's sit down. We can engage, discuss, and settle these matters. Nobody can say that, though.
Criticisms, and we've spoken with Ben Epson, who has indicated that earlier on he was told by someone, he didn't mention a name, that former President Mahama knew about this. So the disgruntled members of the party now feel like, okay, he knows about it and he's in support of this. I'm not sure how the ones that have been taken out will feel about it. Is that
Well,
going to
you see,
create a problem?
the issue for me is not about who knows or even who doesn't know. The issue is about what leadership. We all met at the Accra Sports Stadium and elected leaders. Those leaders we elected will have to lead. I always believe that we cannot elect leaders and want to lead them.
Certainly.
When you elect leaders, you cannot elect leaders and then want to lead them. When you elect leaders, they must lead. those leaders must take decisions. And for me, we don't have to even drag in the former president into this. The former president is part of the Council of Elders. Was the leadership of the Council of Elders in a way engaged? If they were engaged, I believe that they helped in doing so. So it's not about whether former President Mahama was in the known or was not in the known, whether he stopped it or didn't stop it, because the information available to the chairman Asiedu Nketia-led leadership may not be available to everybody.
Let me move to the online and speak with my guest I was talking to earlier on. Please, I hope you're there, Rashid.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, you must have heard from two persons, one from NEC side, one from Parliament itself.
Yes, I have gone
so
through the
I
conversation.
think clearly Kofi Adams makes us understand that sometimes we forget that the way of appointment is different from reshuffling. And so, and if it doesn't send shocks and shivers down your spine, then really there's no reshuffle. So I guess the party thinks it's on the right path, regardless what you think, if they had a rich leadership in Parliament.
Well, I think, as I said earlier, I mean, at the end of the day, it's the party's decision. The party has to decide what it wants. But again, I think the party should also be mindful of the consequences. And I'm just surprised that politicians and our two major parties in this country are not learning from history. Look, even at the level of parliamentary candidates, I think your two guests are there. Honorable Kofi Adams is a member of parliament. He has a lot of experience. We've seen instances where party would impose a candidate and then it will backfire on the party when we go to the polls. The most recent example is the second deputy speaker. We saw what happened to him in his constituency and his relationship with his party and all those things. So that's where some of us who look at these issues dispassionately are coming from. We don't have to underrate the impact of such a decision in terms of saying, well, it's a party, the party has the power, the people have been chosen, they have to lead and so on. Yes, they have to.
Can you give me two examples of the consequences that, as a parliamentary watch organization, you can throw in there as caution?
Well, I think, I mean, let's look at it this way. First of all, the immediate consequences. Assuming that you have some members of the caucus who decide that they are not going to cooperate with these new leaders because they claim they were not consulted, and for that matter, the leaders do not have legitimacy. This is a parliament where every single vote counts, right? So if you even have one member who decides that he or she is disagreeing with the caucus, I mean, you saw what happened on the VAT. Only one of their members did not show up, and we are now having to live with this new law. And there are so many things that are going to come before the House where the whip system must work to ensure that everybody at least is in line with the party's position. So that's just one immediate example. Fast forward to 2024, when nominations open, and if people are still disgruntled, people are carrying these grievances and then extending to their constituencies. That could have an impact on the fortunes of the party. But for me, I think the most immediate consequence, apart from what I have indicated in terms of the numbers and voting and so on, is that I think Honorable Kofi Adams is there, and I have had a chance to interact with TEST, which was the nomination of presidential ministerial nominees and all the kind of fallout. And I think I mentioned that that was a test that the caucus failed at because Ghanaians were expecting one thing and then we saw something different. What is happening in parliament, I think, is what Ghanaians are going to use as a yardstick to measure the NDC as a government in waiting.
Oh,
If
wow.
there is disarray in their ranks in parliament, that could have very serious negative consequences for them. The decision has already been made. I think it's up to them, up to the leadership. They are a family. All of us are hoping that they can come together very quickly and resolve this issue and put it behind them.
Right.
So that they can project an image of a government that is in waiting, that we can trust, that Ghanaians can say, okay, we are going to hand you over power in the coming years. And then also the other immediate consequence is that, as I told you earlier before they joined, today I think there are so many serious issues facing our country. The debt issue, economy, the National Cathedral issue, so many other issues. The Auditor General has just released his report. I think the discussion in this country at this moment should have been this. And then we should have been relying on the minority to lead the charge and rescue this country. But for the past 24 hours, I think the discussion has been on the minority itself.
Right. Hold on there. You're still watching Good Afternoon Ghana, analyzing the changes in the NDC. And, Rashid is saying that this will be a yardstick for the Ghanaian public to use in measuring the NDC. Let's see about that. Let's take a quick breather. I'll be back, and then we'll take one more round with the guests, and then we can wrap up. We'll be back shortly. Okay, let's have our final words on what's happening with the last words that Rashid said. Are you glad that we're now discussing the NDC instead of you helping us discuss the economy and finding solutions for it?
Yeah, thank you very much. One thing I want to say is that for every decision, it has consequences. Action and inaction have consequences, and I can assure you that, assuming there were no changes in parliament, there are still consequences that you probably will not know. So the party has taken a decision. And I'm happy Senior Kofi Adams also said that, look, the rules when you are doing reshuffling, it's not the same when you are making a fresh appointment. I don't want us to reduce this argument to the individuals involved. The party has taken a decision.
But unfortunately, it's because of the individuals that's making us go on this path, because we are also considering these individuals as not just ordinary members of the party.
I have just told you that, look at the performance in 2016 and 2020. The NDC, our vote show up in 2020. Yesterday, the delegates removed the national chairman. So sometimes the party has a way of doing things, and we need to accept it and come together as a political party. Now.
Yeah, quickly, so that
yes, please. You see, this is novel, and we must not create precedents that will affect the party in the future. The party has taken a decision. Let us all come together and move forward. And I'm happy that since yesterday up to today, the party has shown how tolerant it is. There's no fighting, there are opposing views and all of that. But yes, still, we are moving together.
That should scare you.
Between February,
that should get you worried.
From February to May, there will be parliamentary and presidential primaries. The talk will definitely, Ghanaians like politics, will be about the NDC. But after May, all these things will be over, and we'll focus on governance.
So you appreciate the silence?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Demonstrating in silence. You appreciate that one?
No, what I'm saying is that, the expert talked about the fact that now the attention has shifted to the NDC. That is what I'm responding to, that, look, in any case, we are starting our primary soon, and the attention will be on the NDC. Because various constituencies, there will be one or two hiccups, the presidential primaries, people will talk about it. It's normal. But by May ending, all these processes are over. Look, prior to the national election, what did you hear about the party? prior to the national election. But just after the program at Accra Sports Stadium, everything ended at the stadium. That is what will happen. By May ending, we'll be back. If we don't, that is why the government is finding it difficult to reshuffle because of some of these fears. That is why the president is not able to reshuffle. But then this is a bold party, and this is take decisions. And I'm assuring you that the outgoing minority leader, Honorable Haruna Iddrisu, will support the party. He's a strong member of the party. He will support the party for the party to win the next election.
Is that your wish?
2016.
Is that your wish?
2016, the NPP suspended the national chairman. The NPP suspended the general secretary. Yesterday, they won the election. So it is the power comes from the people. Ghanaians are aware that the NPP cannot manage this economy. That has nothing to do with the NDC trying to bring things together, reorganize. For all you know, Honorable Haruna Iddrisu, the party is putting him in a strategic position. You don't know. So let's allow the party leadership to work. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, we are in the news instead of, it says the
DDEP.
economy or DDE and what have you. As for the economy, we are living it every day. We actually don't need to even talk about it. People are living it every day. If you are sick and you have bought bonds and they have matured and you go to the bank and you don't get your money, no matter how much we are discussing NDC, you will feel it. So the issue of economy is going to be a running thing that we will talk about. It will not end. Then if you say because of economy, then the economy is not going to get better and we are not going to then take any action. So the party may have to take an action sometime, some way, and they have taken it now. I don't think that any member of parliament will come and say, because it is Atuforsen that is leader, because Boa is the deputy leader, or Kwame Agboja is the chief whip, I will not come and participate in a vote that for which my people have asked me to be there. I'm yet to see that member of parliament. That because it is not these persons, I would say if Electoral Commission is bringing a CI that I think will not help Ghana, I will stay away and let it pass. Or because it is not this person that is in leadership. If a Japa deal is being brought to parliament, instead of me joining to oppose it, I will stay away and allow it to pass. I'm yet to see that person. I don't think that is going to happen. So
I don't know
people
what's
who are
happening in the
expressing-
NDC, but is the public overly reacting?
I think it's a normal reaction. Like I've said, this is the first time a minority leader is being changed. It has not happened before, both in NDC and NPP. It has not happened. And so you will expect such reaction. You would, like the chairman of the party said, that the leaders that are being changed have not failed. They are not being changed because
I
they
asked
have
him
failed.
before. So why do you change your winning team?
Well, sometimes you change a very good defender and bring in a midfielder or a striker, depending on what you want. The person is defending very well. He has saved you from conceding some goals. But sometimes when you want goals, you want to bring in a midfielder to supply the strikers the balls for them to be able to score the goals. So,
Which you
it's
think
really-
this defender has not been able to?
Well,
give you?
I have not, which the defender maybe is not able to supply the balls quickly. So because you want to strengthen the middle and then the up front, you do such substitution. Haruna has given his best for this party and the parliament. He has done so, and you can't take that away from him. And he will still be me. If you ask me my personal wish, which I don't want to state now, though, Haruna knows. Many persons around him know. He knew that I defied late President Rawlings in 2005 and supported him as a national youth organizer for his second term. So he knows our relationship. But here, the party have taken a decision. They had their own strategy and intelligence. What we need now is to abide by and see how it can work.
How will it look like Haruna moving from the front seat to back seat?
Well, I think the leadership can rearrange the seating. I knew that, for example, Honorable Collins Dauda and Honorable Cletus Avoka are taking the two seats directly in front. Because maybe Honorable Collins Dauda has not been a leader before, possibly they may decide that, okay, they are shifting his location to the immediate back so that a former leader of the House can occupy that speech together with another former leader who is Honorable Cletus Avoka. Or I know Haruna too. He wouldn't mind even taking the next seat at the back. He wouldn't mind. I don't think that for him is a problem. He has said one thing. He said money and those things don't determine who he is and how he acts, because anytime he's moving with his white cloth, because he knows he can die anywhere, and all you need to bury him is that white cloth. So he is somebody who takes life so easy. And I believe that those who are agitating and doing what they are doing, if they know Haruna himself, they will not worry. I'm sure maybe they are worried because of what it is he has done and his contribution to this party. But a strategic decision have been taken, and those who talk about consultation, fair, if they said they were not consulted and they wanted to be consulted, that's a nice way to raise it. But I think moving forward, the parliamentary group should be proposing a regulation as to how to govern the wings, the elections of leadership, and the reshuffling of leadership and the rest could all possibly be stated in a regulation that can be adopted by NEC or even by Congress. So it becomes a working document that we'll all operate with. But until such time, what we have worked with is what we must work with. I've been a party executive from at the national level from 2005 till 2018. And we really have never had a full-blown national executive meeting to discuss on leadership of the House. There's a meeting, there's some level of agreement, indication with the caucus, and then it is announced. We must also not blame our colleagues who have been given the opportunity to serve. Every member of parliament is qualified to be in leadership, even if you are in your first term.
Right.
You qualify, if you understand. After all, the first parliament, it was their first term that they selected leaders amongst them. And it has been on and on until now. If you are an MP worth your salt, after a year or two in parliament, you should understand the rubrics of the House. So the first qualification is to be a member of parliament. Those people selected, they are not like square pegs. They are not ordinary persons. They are not toddlers when it comes to parliamentary business. They understand. Almost all of them are either in their third or more terms. Ato, I think, is in his fourth term.
Yeah.
Kwame Abuja is in his third term. Amabua, I think, is also in his third or fourth term. So once you have done 2 terms in parliament, there's nothing about parliament you will not know. So I believe that they are ready and prepared to lead. We should just support them. A number of persons are not happy, but I can understand their reasons for they are not being happy. But let's put that behind us. Let's engage and see how we can develop regulations moving forward.
My time is up, but let me find out. So those who are, disgruntled and demonstrating, what are you doing with them?
It's only engagement. We are a party. We can only engage them. And I believe that the persons on whose behalf they are doing that will also engage them. And I want to use this medium to speak to them, that they should exercise some restraint. They should let us direct our energy to talking about the wrongs that are happening, from the cathedral through the domestic debt exchange system, through the bad economy, to Auditor General's report coming from special audit of the COVID funds and the rest, and how they mess all those things up. These are things that are of great importance that we must focus our energies on.
Maybe these are things that the media will also have to focus its energy on, because you change the narrative. Kofi Adams.
It's good to do that from time to time.
Anyway, so Kofi Adams, Member of Parliament for Buim constituency. I earlier on had Rashid Draman, Executive Director for Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs, on Zoom, and also Wanda Victor Kuto is a National Executive Committee member for the NDC. Congratulations. I think actually after your elections, I didn't see you. I saw you before, I didn't see you after. So congratulations and thank you for coming. My name is Ania Fampofu. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon, Ghana.